I'm so glad that we're doing this and bringing this information to the people who are listening to this podcast. But this is not mainstream. Like the first thing that we know, if anything goes off, is go to the doctor and take those pills and heal the symptom.
Treat the symptom. I think that's also a function of how we've been raised and how we've been conditioned. Like even for me, when I was sick in 2017, I didn't think that the answers were in nutrition. Right? The first thing I also did was I went to doctors. Okay, I'm feeling like this is happening. Can you please explain what's going on? That I didn't get answers and all is like, I've spoken about it in many places. But I think it's how we are raised. Even as little children, when we get sick, our parents first take us to a doctor, right? So we don't even know, like animals and little children innately know the answer isn't like just listening to their body. But it's the adults that forget this. And over time, I think because of how we kind of get caught in that loop, that something's gone wrong, let me first visit a doctor and let me first go to a hospital, we forget that we can look for answers in our kitchen. But if you go to your grandmother, they will always have kitchen-based solutions, right? Like, okay, if you're having, let's say, diarrhea, here's a little nutmeg and that will help you. If you're having sleepless nights, here's a little poppy seeds and that will help you. Like so many, I remember my grandmother having a full repository of like herbs always in her head for anything that happened to us, to me and my sister. So that knowledge is there. I think it's our modern day way of growing up and like the conditioning, movies, mainstream media that's really made us forget it. Also, unfortunately, medical curriculums don't really teach doctors how to treat chronic diseases. If you look at medical curriculums, right, they're mostly a encyclopedia of pharmaceuticals. That if this happens, this is the medicine. This happens, this is the medicine. This is the composition of this medicine. This is the molecular formula. This is how you calculate how much to give by weight, by height and everything. If medicines fail, then here are the surgeries that you do. If surgeries fail, here are the implants that you do. If that also fails, here are the machines you put people on for life support. That's their training, right? Doctors, like I've looked at it, US, India, they don't really get more than 2 to 4 hours of nutrition education. Now, most of the diseases that we are suffering with as a population, as a species, they are mostly lifestyle-driven diseases. And the ones we go to for treatment haven't been taught how to treat these. So this is something that's a failing of the system itself, that it's so easy to heal these diseases with food, but the ones you go to for solutions don't even know these things. Thankfully, in the US now, functional medicine has caught up. A lot of practitioners, like even MDs and all of that, are switching to this way of working with their patients. And in India, while we were the pioneers of bringing this, now I'm seeing there's actually a group of people, like there are doctors who really are compassionate, right? Like they became doctors because they wanted to treat people and help them heal and all of that. So I'm seeing a lot of doctors now adopting this particular practice. In fact, in the academy we run, we have a lot of doctors signing up to learn how to do this work.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So we have doctors who are signing up with us now, that's because really they've also realized that, it doesn't work. What they've been taught doesn't work. For acute issues, doctors are always lifesavers. I don't dismiss doctors, and I don't even dismiss allopathy. If you have a very severe infection and it's actually going to become life-threatening, you need antibiotics, right? Or you get an injury, there's like bleeding, or you get a burn that needs, like allopathy can save lives, but it's for acute conditions. When it comes to chronic lifestyle-driven conditions, then you have to look at long-term things. Like you have to look for the reasons that made you sick in the first place, and then fix those.
So Mugdha, you said like the answer is in our food, in our kitchen. So, so if you were to look at, let's say, the Indian kitchen, and if you were to say like, okay, here are the things that we've been doing wrong now. Maybe back in the days, our grandmothers, they, things used to be certain way, and then we have messed up. Maybe because we wanted things, in a different way, much faster, quicker. So what would be few things like we can start with
I think
oils.
I think like one of the biggest things that I would want out of kitchens is seed oils itself, right? And a lot of people are surprised when I say that, because when let's even talk about what are seed oils. So seed oils are seed or vegetable oils are oils that are coming in from seeds, like your groundnut, sunflower, mustard, sesame. Now, a lot of these oils, people say that they have been traditional use. Like sesame seed oil is used popularly in the south. Groundnut is what is used in the west, like Maharashtra, Gujarat, groundnut oil is used. Up north, you'll see a lot of mustard oil, sarson
Mustard
ka
oil,
tel
yeah,
that
yeah.
is used, right? But these oils really came into our consumption after industrialization came in, because we did not have the technology to crush a seed and remove the oil out of it, fill it in a bottle, and then use it for convenience, right? So it's really industrialization that bought it. And if you look at the first use of seed oils, like canola oil and all, they were used in the lubricant industry.
Oh.
They were not even used in the food industry.
Wow.
Even to date, the grease and lubricant industry, like iThrive's CEO comes from the lubricant industry background, right? But grease, lubricant industry, they still use seed oils. These were not part of human consumption. It's just that the industrialized way of making these oils made them very cheap. And obviously they're very, very high margin, high profit products, right? So it was very easy to kind of push them in the market. Now, the question then is, what was used traditionally before these seed oils came? In the south, mostly it was coconut and coconut oil that was used as the fat source. Everywhere else, it was ghee, right? It was like most people had cows at their homes. Most people would kind of have milk and butter and curd being made at home, and they would use ghee for cooking. Now the debate is on like the level of hormones and the injections that go into cows and the quality of the ghee and all of that, right? So there are ways to work that around, right? Like I personally source butter from a local dairy where I know what they're feeding the cows, right? Like I just know the source. It's a very local guy. I'm not looking at these big brands or these marquee brands where there's no control. And then I buy butter from him and I make ghee at home. It doesn't take any time. Like twice a month I make ghee and it's enough for me. So these are the fats that we really need.
So, but now you mentioned like no seed oil.
Huh.
Then what happens with the seed oil?
So why are seed oils bad, right? So seed oils are very high in a fatty acid called omega-6. So we've heard of omega-3s. A lot of people are taking omega-3 supplements, but there are omega-3, omega-6 and omega-9, 3 kinds of fatty acids. So seed oils are very high in these omega-6 fatty acids. What omega-6 do to us, inherently, the signaling that they do inside our cells is they indicate that it's winter is here. Like, I'm not quoting Game of Thrones, but they really indicate that, because it's only in the absence of animal fats that humans might go and forage for nuts and seeds and look for them. So too much omega-3 goes into your cells and it starts creating something called as insulin resistance, which then leads to diabetes. Okay, so if you see how diabetes ka incidence globally has been increasing and you look at seed oil consumption, there's a huge correlation. Second, seed oils also are quite inflammatory in nature. So they start damaging your cellular structure. So when we eliminate seed oils from people's diets, right, like there are blood markers to see inflammation. You can look at CRP, ESR and all of that. But when we eliminate seed oils, just doing that one thing can start bringing down inflammation in the body. So inflammation comes down, it prevents diabetes from happening. Your cells also start functioning better when you remove seed oils, when you include more saturated fat. And like how it translates externally. Now this is internally, right, at a cellular level. No one's like taking a microscope and looking at cells. How it translates externally is you will start losing weight, you will start feeling more energetic, your brain will start functioning better because it's getting the right kind of fat. So that's why I say, like, if people think sugar is really bad, so white sugar, yes, it is bad, but seed oils, right, the problem is if you consume seed oil today at a cellular level, it can remain inside your body for 660 days.
Wow.
That's 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. So sugar will still get processed within a day and it will get metabolized and eliminated from your body. You'll feel a little groggy. Some people get hyper with sugar. Some people have that dopamine, like, you know, they crash after a sugary meal. But it's still a 24-hour journey unless you're consuming sugar every day. But seed oils can remain in your body for that long, right? Wow. So it takes that long to reverse seed oil damage. And it's something that, again, mainstream doesn't often talk about. You often have
what are the alternatives then?
Ghee, butter, coconut oil, and if someone's open to cooking in what's called as tallow, like actual animal fat itself.
Achha.
There are cultures that cook in that also, right? So
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. So it's more ancient, like tribal people do that, right? Where they take the animal fat itself. For people who are vegetarian, vegans, this might sound a little too gross. But they cook in that, right? So those fats are very high in something called as stearic acid, which is really good for your cells.
Achha.
So ghee, butter, coconut oil, in that order. and if you're open to cooking in